One of the ways to think about the dressage whip when riding is to not use it with strength. It should not be something that you use hard. You should not be able to hear it from across the arena, but you should think about using it to get the horse to get a little quicker. So I'm going to tap with the whip here because he's coming behind my leg, and I'm going to give him a quick tap. So I want you to listen. And that got him to speed his legs up. And when I did that, I put my leg on just a little bit stronger. I'm going to do that one more time. He's getting slow, more leg, and then he goes, whoo, you got me with the zinger. But it's a really light tap. That's actually a little harder than I would use on this horse, but I wanted you to be able to hear it. The whip is designed to bend all of the way around your leg, so you would never want to pull your hand back to use a dressage whip. That would be much too strong, but you also lose the connection in the front end. So I'm going to go back to a turn on the forehand because that's where he tends to get a little bit too slow. And then I'm going to come with the whip to quicken him. Good boy. And it's harder for me with my left hand, so I try and practice using my whip in my left hand when I'm not riding so that I can get better about using it more quickly rather than more harsh. So another way that I think about using the whip is, especially like when you're trotting, I think of this with the leg as well, is that when you go like to go dancing and they're playing music, you're going to match the beat of the music. So if the music is slow, you're going to dance slow. If the music is fast, you're going to dance fast. So it's the same idea with the whip. When we come with the whip, it's usually because they're moving slow. So we need to change the song that's playing to something that is a faster beat. And if you give them a really hard hit, you can't give them a faster beat for one, but the other is you're just going to bruise them, and that's not what we're looking for. We're trying to give them something to listen to that they can step up to. So I'm using the whip now with more the volume that I would use on this horse. It's a super light tap. He's a very sensitive horse. So I'm going to use this on my boot so that you can hear. So for this horse, I would tap him like this. And see, he hears that, right? And you can see I'm barely hitting myself. And using it on my boot, it makes it a little bit louder. But that's the quicker tempo that I'm talking about. And it's the same idea with your leg. Like when you're in the posting trot, if you stand up and then you sit down and squeeze or kick, and then stand up, sit down and kick, stand up, sit down, kick, that's pretty slow. So you're at this beat if you're kicking every time you sit down, but the horse is trotting at double that. They're going like this. So you're kicking them every other stride. So you need to catch up and maybe even go a little quicker than they are. And that's where the whip becomes really helpful, because when you're posting, it's really hard to kick out of rhythm. And so you can use the whip to give them that little quicker rhythm. So I can show you a little bit how I can use my leg a little bit out of rhythm. And this is one, I'm pigeon-toed, but also my ankles are pretty flexible. So normally we go kick, 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 kick to try and speed the horse up, and he just ignores it or slows down because it's actually slower than his 1-2, 1-2 rhythm that he's in. So something that you can think of doing is on the way down, you go bump, bump, and you see he catches up right away. Bump, bump, and he catches up right away. Bump, bump. And then if he doesn't, my whip can go until he gives me a quicker rhythm. And so that was just a holding leg and tapping with the whip until he quickens his rhythm. So those are some things I want you to think about with using the whip, and then making sure that you're changing it over. I have a video on that. You can practice that you put the whip, the reins in the whip hand, free hand comes over and changes the whip, and you grab your reins on the way down. So that way you're holding the reins for the longest period of time possible and not doing the whole slide the whip out ahead of you, and then you have to try and regather your reins. And with the double bridle, it even gets a little more complicated. Happy riding, everyone.